Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. Today I've got some more breaking news developments to share with you, and it's in regard to a page on Reddit which has crumbled ever since. Whether it be completely deleted yet or in the process, eventually not going to be active anymore from what's been said. And the serious nature of that and how it can have a knock-on effect, I'm going to be sharing bits with you today, screenshots and conversations and some messages in the background supposedly from the horse's mouth that created the Reddit page in the first place and beyond. And we'll take a look at it from different viewpoints because the alternative Noah Presgrove review Reddit subreddit is still about and still going. And a post has been made amongst this type of news, so I will be giving credit to that where it comes from and the screenshots provided, but I'll also give you my point of view and what I think about it. Is it good? Is it not? Does it actually help solve the case, etc.? And I will give you a bit of a backstory as well. And on top, what's happened to me when it came to that original Reddit page, because I did receive a notification about 5 days ago or so, and I'll get that up on screen shortly. But what I wanted to say is welcome to those that are currently here in the live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right side of the screen at any point, and watching on catch up, etc. Leave your thoughts and comments below under the video. It'll help with spreading awareness, and I can respond back to the comments at a later point. If you want to support my channel, there is a PayPal link down below, pinned message. And if you want to catch up on recent videos, and if you've missed out on any, to catch up on all the news and coverage on the Noah Presgrove case, the full playlist is available top right corner of the screen where the I symbol is. So, what I want to make very clear is I received a notification roughly 5 days ago on Reddit that I, myself, have been permanently banned on the Noah Presgrove subreddit. What was the reasoning behind being banned? It didn't give a reason. Now, in the past, when I was banned elsewhere, and I think it might have been by Just Chemist or somebody else, I was banned on another Reddit page, a deep dive one. And the reasoning behind that was because of drama and conflict, even though at the time I was defending myself and somebody else on the Reddit page started it and made false claims about me. I simply did a response, I defended myself, and it was done on YouTube. I did not link it, I did not go to Reddit, I did not start it there. But because of being on a Reddit page and doing my response to that Reddit page comment section of a particular person, but on my own channel, people were still incompetent to block, ban and remove me, and I kept it to myself and I did the coverage on my own page. So I didn't do anything wrong. I was falsely banned there, but it gave a reason. This time round, on the main original Reddit page, which had, I think, maybe 6,000 plus members, just says I've been banned. Now, that might be for everyone. The reason why I say that is there was one conversation in the background, and I don't know if to mention names or not, but a person was communicating with Jen being the one behind the original Reddit subreddit page. Jen's name coming up in recent time by the likes of Michael Facecaz on one of the Facebook posts or comments when we're looking at all of that. So that's who Jen is. They've got blonde hair. You might have seen them before. They're also known by the username as Excellent Spite. And they were a good person in the past, and then they changed in behavior, became a bit erratic, overly emotional and charged, taking it out on the wrong person, yapping at me and beyond, and some other moderators or other little members going the same route, which was very disappointing. Now, just as a little history lesson, if you didn't already know, Excellent Spite at times would act out, but quite quickly, quite reactionary when it came to trying to control the community or to try and please certain people. at the cost of other stuff maybe being removed or taken down, giving into the pressure just because other people didn't like it. That could have coincided with some of my post videos and stuff being removed and taken down because others didn't like it. So Jen gave in, and some of us say, very disappointing to see, yapping on as well in the direct message as well, which didn't help. But obviously not showing screenshots of that because it's not needed, but I just base it off in here what I remember and have seen myself. I was very lenient at times, you know, okay, maybe you did this and maybe you got rid of that because of the pressures kicking in and having to try and keep everybody at bay and all happy, but it's just not going to work, that is it? You can't please everyone. And more so post videos, previous stuff being removed, reasoning behind it, even though it was not directly said to my face immediately. It took a bit of time after that and a backdoor approach, but it was basically discussed and agreed upon that my post about the case were deemed undiscussion worthy. They weren't good enough, my videos. Even though it was all about the case and Noah Presgrove, they just weren't worthy of being talked about or shared on the Reddit page. But they were quite okay in other unrelated, unnecessary posts about all kinds of shit, and even Jack and Carter going on holiday. So you could tell by that point, things took a massive downwards trend and turn, really, you know, devaluing in quality, in presence, really backwards, going downhill, massive downgrade. So once that happened and I realized that Jen, Excellent, Spite, and maybe some other people had falsely led me down a route of false security, encouraging me to post in the first place, encouraging me to continue on despite what other members on the Reddit page had to say, like opening map, that was it, forensic pathologists, the same attitude and mentality like AJ Williams. But besides that, and some other people, I was encouraged just to keep on posting and being active because it was welcomed and appreciated. So welcomed and appreciated that eventually they were shut down, silenced, the post. Yeah, gone a full circle there, back to square one. So my reluctance in posting at times was the best thing, but they encouraged me and it was a waste of time. It was all a waste of time. But was the page a waste of time, the subreddit, from the early days of when it was about and when I was covering it and I was sharing bits with you? It was really good then. But for it to go downhill since is a big disappointment and shame. And I can add on with the value of what that page provided and go on further if need be. But I'll save that for later, so be sure to stick around. What I do want to do very shortly is actually show you the post and some screenshot conversations amidst, you know, the build-up of this and the implosion of the page. I mean, we've got to acknowledge that it's on Reddit, different to Facebook, so it makes it change that, but I guess problems can still carry over, sometimes by the same people, but just more so by the nature and the mind and attitudes of humans in general, regardless. Without further ado, let's transition. As you can see on screen, the review page by Golf Pro, shout out to them. 3 days ago, this was posted about. 5 days ago is when I was permanently banned from the page, what we're talking about here. The review page ever since has been a good alternative. But what does Golf have to say? The huge dramatic exit announcements are always so cringy. I do agree. Beyond that, we are wondering, number one, why? Did the family finally tell you to shut up? Or did you finally get your 15 minutes via Netflix? 2, does this big dramatic exit also include August, Charlie, and the various other aliases, including Taylor Norman, still unbelievable, along with the flying monkeys who make statements for you? Number 3, are you aware that in addition to obstruction of justice in Oklahoma, conducting private investigations without a license is illegal and carries penalties? Is that a suggestion towards what Jen has done or somebody Jen knows? What's it with all this obstruction and taking over when it comes to the general public? The reference to Netflix, whether that be people in the case community, more so, general public, any fake petty squabbles or drama, stirring stuff, creating things at heads with one another but best friends behind the scenes to gain a level of interest and shock in the case, to get the attention of Netflix, to get focus over there. Who knows? Anything could be possible. In terms of the alternative names and aliases, I don't know at this point. It's crazy, isn't it? So all kinds of stuff going on. Dramatic exit announcement in regard to Jen stepping down or trying to delete the page or post. We might have a screenshot which gives more context behind that stuff. We'll get to that later, but I just wanted to acknowledge what's being said here because there'll be some names and some questions which might open your eyes. We do have some screenshots down below. You can read them if you want, but I will do a slideshow shortly so we can click on it and look at it clear on the screen. Because unfortunately with Reddit nowadays, if I click on the photo, it doesn't zoom in, it zooms out and it just gets in the way. But there's some stuff mentioned there. We'll acknowledge the comments though right now. Tough complaint. Wow. So all the way back in mid-September 2024, Jan Fiorillo and Michael Faizkaz orchestrating behind the scenes as everyone had already been made aware of. So this Jan lady runs some kind of top secret underground government spy agency and everyone reports to her. Interesting, including known felons. Is Pam Feldman Garrison's connection to technology through her military husband, who supports various military IT operations. The one who got arrested doing some kind of mobile social hosting violation in his car. Jan Fiorillo has everybody reporting to her had to sign her non-disclosure agreement. Not exactly Charlie's Angels, but more like Jan's Moles. So effing hilarious. Lots of lead pipes in Oklahoma. Guess who knows? And the only Charlie's Angels about is on Warlike Ref's channel. Warlike's Angels. It's been demonstrated in the Dylan Rounds case when key people within the case, people of a certain gender, for it to apply to Charlie's Angels. Looking out for me in a positive way. The same has happened in the Noah Presgrove case. So shout out to the people that have looked out for me with time, whether that be on YouTube, whether that be on other platforms. It's appreciated. So some shocking stuff mentioned, more screenshots here, and we will acknowledge it later. So everybody had already known about Jan using a Taylor Norman profile. She calls it borrowing, which is bizarre because the child has been deceased for decades. Wow. I guess the child's parents gave Jan the okay to use their child's name and memory in such a shady, delusional hobby of hers. Maybe Netflix can investigate that link. Taylor Lee Norman. We'll zoom in later. I don't even know what to say other than this is worse than any identity theft type of nonsense. She appears to have hijacked that child's name. Does anyone know the child's parents are aware of that Jan lady's done? Is this going to make it into the Netflix series? And so on and so on. Golf Pro as well. And final comment, this is getting very weird. So weird. So it seems like there's a dark side, and I don't mean the dark side as categorizing certain people, but there is a literal dark side within this case. Endless backstories, but why does it need to be that way? Does it make the case shady? Does it add a level of shade and coverage over the actual light of the case, consuming it? That's how it could be interpreted in some way. Let's take a closer look at the screenshots. The reason why I've got the first screenshot here as it is, because this was in relation to the Justice page some days ago by Ashley Chadwick calling out Michael Faizkaz. The Reddit page as well of the one that Jen Zakuda created because of there was rumours and attacks elsewhere claiming Noah's family kicked, removed and blocked from the Reddit page, and Ashley basically said, no, that's not the case. However, the full story is I was muted for 28 days by moderators. What was the reasoning behind that? No explanation. And Ashley Chadwick did comment on the Reddit page. Jen and others did not respond back. It was silent. And it just so happens that this particular conversation, what you see on screen here, as limited as it is from Joyce Bergau's perspective in which Jen has reached out, this came about supposedly just afterwards. This was the catalyst. Ashley Chadwick and her post, giving her a piece of mind in regard to the Reddit situation, more so in regard to Michael Faizkaz, etc., and Robin Smith as well. This is what triggered that, supposedly. Very interesting domino effect. Quite powerful. But if anyone is running away or backing down, sometimes you could see it as a form of submission, submissive behaviour. Other times, maybe because people just had enough to want to get away, and in other times, maybe because there's something suspicious, shady going on. But it was interesting because, in particular, with this post by Ashley Chadwick, Robin Smith, you see some screenshots just up that way, there, those ones there, and Robin calling out Michael. When Michael Faizkaz did his response, I believe on the case discussion page, showing his point of view that there's a smear campaign against Justin and Michael, and there was a reference to Jen Zakuda. So it seems like Jen is in connection with Michael Faizkaz and some other people. And when I say in connection, I mean more so in communication to some extent, possibly. How does that go? How does that gel well, or does it not? And what gets passed on in the background? I'll zoom in here, just make it a bit easier for your viewing. So there is Jen Zakuda, Sunday, 11:22 p.m. the 2025, just recently. Jen says, "Hey, Joyce Bergau, you win. I'm deleting the Reddit page and removing myself from the Facebook pages. Happy now? You wanted me to shut my mouth. Well, here's me shutting it. Good luck on the case." Now, stepping back, leaving pages, understandable for numerous reasons. And for this, I guess, peace of mind, I'm out. I've had enough of people calling me, whatever it may be, as what Jen feels. But the act of deleting the Reddit page, that is extremely reckless and in a way selfish. And in a way, it throws it back in Noah's face after all of those months collecting all of those posts for what? So it just all to be deleted? Now, it isn't as simple as that, because supposedly it can't be deleted, but still the mentality and attitude behind it, it just doesn't look good. When it comes down to justice for Noah, standing one's ground, standing tall, strong to some extent, but then just crumbling, imploding. And you look back at the foundations, the meaning behind it all. Did it really mean anything in the first place? Where did it all go so wrong? And I would argue and say, the moment I stepped on in and I saw the dysfunction, because when I see the dysfunction, eventually it only gets worse. And when the majority see it, it's when it's too late. So we've got a screenshot there. We'll zoom in a bit in a second. Jen says, "So I can't just delete it, but I'm out." So what happens there? Now, I have tried searching for the Noah Presgrove original subreddit, but when I'm signed in, I can't see it. And that's probably because I've been permanently banned from the page. So even though there was no reason given, it's just interesting the timing of me being permanently banned. Unless Jen privatized the subreddit, Jen, G-E-N-N, apologies about that, these bloody names, unless Jen ended up privatizing the subreddit so no one can access it or see it anymore, and or just kicking everybody from the page so then no one can get into it whatsoever, and then privatizing it. Who knows? When we look at it closer here of that screenshot, what Jen was getting at, and this was just on a help section. How do I delete my own subreddit? And in response, you can't delete subreddits. You can set it to private and abandon it if you want. Deleting is not an option. You're allowed to keep the sub and abandon it. Another option is to send it over to Adopt Reddit or any other sub that does the same thing, is more common, so you're more likely to find someone who wants it there. Passing it on, but would it change to a different community, a different name, a profile? Who knows? And then these screenshots are the one from the review page where we looked at the comment section just before. So yeah, the attitude with Jen, it's not looking positive. I guess they're not positive either with what's going on. I'm not aware of what Joyce Bergow has been saying to Jen for Jen to say, you know, are you happy now? You wanted me to shut my mouth. I've not seen personally Joyce calling out Jen, but who knows what's going on. The timing of this with Ashley Chadwick's post is, I guess, interesting. And if there is a big exit and a big round of applause, or hey look, I'm leaving, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, happy now, it's, do we need to celebrate? I don't think so. Is, you know, kind of cringy like when some people say to me that they're leaving my channel, they're cancelling membership, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Did you need to make a big song and dance about it? Is it necessary? Besides that, this screenshot is to do with a conversation between someone in a blue box, and then in the grey box is supposedly Jan Fiorillo, even though the name has been blanked out. That might be done, I don't know, for certain reasons. But you can tell it's Jan Fiorillo because it starts with the name J-A and then it ends in an N. And furthermore, you can see that dodgy baseball cap which Jan would be wearing in a profile picture whilst smiling. So, and based off the text as well, it would probably come across as Jan. But I'm just making that clear for you because, some, you know, when things are blurred out names, it might be harder for some. So it was posted, and this is Facebook Messenger, I think. Is it definitely Facebook Messenger? It looks like it. And if it's not Facebook Messenger, it'd be iMessage. One or the other, doesn't really matter. September 20th, 2024 at 1:02 p.m. Jan says, yes, Pam Feldman Garrison has been one of my moles and has taken a lot of grief. She is in deep. She told me she messaged you because she keeps getting kicked out of the groups, basically rendering her somewhat ineffective. She has a few connections in Oklahoma and technology. She is also under a non-disclosure agreement, so I'm a little surprised that she messaged you without talking to me first. But we have been discussing bringing you in the loop, and I've told her that I trust you. Just from how this is worded, you got the victim's family within the case struggling for answers and closure, and on top of all that, maybe bad communication with police at times. And then you got this little secret agent club, members of the general public, creating some kind of underground group. It's a little weird in a way. You know, I know you get groups and pages where people gather and share ideas and maybe some material, but it just sounds like, I don't know if you'd call it acts of vigilantism, but kind of like along the lines of taking matters into one's own hand and doing what they can, which could be considered a positive. But are Noah's family aware of things like this? If so, that's a positive. If not, you could understand why some family members may not be too pleased, just like how they're not pleased with Michael Facecast, just as an example. But yeah, Pam Feldman Garrison alongside Jan Fiorillo. We saw the double team, Batman and Robin previously. We saw them worshipping, whether it be fake or real, worshipping that other creator out there. Saw how that went. But yeah, she's under a non-disclosure agreement. And who else was under a non-disclosure agreement? I think it was Michael Faze, Kaz and Justin Roy. And Jan Fiorillo called them out because of how unreliable they were or so, and it wasn't worth suing them or doing something because there wasn't much value to gain from it. And it was to do with testing the NDA when it came to falsely accusing Robbie Taylor under the name or using the name or using an alternative account known as Jose or something. and that wasn't true. It was made up by Jan, but Jan did it as a test to see who she could trust, but at the cost of a member of the general public being dragged through it. That isn't exactly professional or fair on Robbie Taylor. And whilst it may have been resolved since, it's just putting up with it over time. It's messy, is it not? And we've seen those screenshots previously when it's come to Jan Fiorillo. But yeah, in terms of the other mention, she, as in Pam, has a few connections in Oklahoma and technology. What's that suggesting? As in that can be used and applied in the case? In response, someone says, okay, I'll let her back into the group. Sorry about that. I'll let Pam back in the group. So this person in blue is what? An admin, an administrator in control of a certain Facebook page, the army one or the case discussion one. Is this Michael Facecast? Is it Justin Roy? Who could it be? Besides that, Jan says, you cannot defend here in any way, Michael. Oh, well, there we go. See, I'm looking at the messages bit by bit, so I'm not actually seeing the names until I get to it. So this is Michael Facecast communicating with Jan. Interesting. What else? Jan says, or link she and I together. You cannot do that. She knows how to work two sides of a discussion without blowing her cover. The thing is, if this is Pam Feldman Garrison, regarded as a very competent, high-end, technical masterpiece individual, the same person that was so incompetent that they made false claims of bestiality when labelling me, false claims of zoophilia, false claims of not taking the case serious enough, and Jan going along the same route. These humans are in absolutely no position to be hyping themselves up or acting in a mysterious high-end way when their wording and interpretation of me is absolutely abysmal. And Jan can't even do her research on my channel, doesn't even know what she's talking about when it comes to my channel. This is embarrassing. Some little secret agency kids club. My goodness. Moving on. What's mentioned here? September 23rd, 2024 at 4:22 p.m. Jan says, please run your check on Taylor Norman Facebook page that I am borrowing and tell me what you see. I have tried VPN on our ORBI system, but it seems too slow, things down. And I also can't access some websites that I use, so I deleted it. Any advice there is appreciated. Of course, I am not going to use Tor, lol. Oh, you're not going to use Tor? Well, some people like using Tor, don't they? And if people don't understand what Tor is, it's just kind of like, we call it an internet service. It's a search tool, search engine, which can be done in an anonymous way, and I guess it doesn't track you. Basically, people will use Tor when they want to access the dark web. And when it comes to the dark web, you can think of the most unimaginable things that will exist in this world, and amongst all varying age ranges in many different outcomes. Certain types of people will use Tor to access that content material. Other people will use Tor as a means of communication via terrorist subcell groups and other means of maybe going on certain websites to buy, black market and all of that. But Jan's saying, well, I'm not using that. Okay. But what really stands out is that Jan Fiorillo is admitting to using somebody else's Facebook page. Why would you be doing that? And this is embarrassing. I don't know how well Justin and some others have supported or defended Jan Fiorillo, but what I will say is, just in general, when people like that are calling out fake accounts and fake profiles, when Justin Roy is talking about the dark side and fake accounts, come on, really? And you got Jan Fiorillo admitting to using, borrowing another person's Facebook page or profile as a means to what exactly? Just in general sounds very sneaky behaviour, admitting it privately in the background but not publicly. oh, it's bad. Oh, it's a problem if people from the dark side use fake accounts, but oh, it's perfectly okay if Jan uses a fake account herself. But it's not a fake account, and it's just borrowing. You know, you can have it back afterwards. Is that so? I know Michael Facecaz had mentioned about AJ Williams, that's a fake account, or somebody is using it when the original AJ Williams is now deceased and no longer alive, and there was a Facebook page or profile picture of that. Who knows? Maybe from the light side to the dark side, wherever, whenever there are fake profiles and fake people, I find it cowardly, pathetic, and embarrassing in general, right? Because when you see me, you see my profile picture, you see my username, and that is basically it. I don't have to go on random accounts or default profiles to do stuff. If I'm going to leave a comment, I'll do it under my account. It's as simple as, and to be honest, 9 times out of 10, if not more so recently, 10 times out of 10, I don't go commenting on other people's channels when it comes to true crime in that case. When it comes to drama elements and aspects, I don't really comment on it. But I will respond or give my thoughts in my own videos and keep to myself on my page and channel. Better self-control than most humans on this planet. But I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. What you think about this Taylor Norman? Sounds very dodgy in my opinion. And this is supposedly Taylor Lee Norman. Whether it's the same exact person, if it was, where it says born July 29th, 1997, died August 28th, 2002, buried in Duncan Cemetery, Oklahoma. Kind of a coincidence that with the reference of Oklahoma. I don't know for certain if this Taylor Lee Norman is directly the same one that Jan's using here, but it doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter to some extent if you're borrowing a dead person's account. That's a bit twisted. But if that's not the case and you're just borrowing somebody else's account and you've got permission, of course, you'd need that. It's still sly and sneaky behaviour. Is it necessary? And then this last one, which don't know what the reference is, to be honest, by Tamara Gregor, the Duncan banner, February 25th, 2023. Is Jan Fiorillo in any of the photo? Don't think so, no. Not from what I can see. The Love You Well Foundation partnered with the Duncan Chamber of Commerce on February 24th at the Cancer Centers of Southwest Oklahoma. Taylor Lee Norman, is that the one that's died? / McCasland Cancer Center in Duncan. Foundation participants: Jan Ledford Fiorillo, the Jan Fiorillo, Lane Houghton, Lisa Lenorman Freeman, Vicky Fiorillo, I guess related to Jan, Stephanie Gates with Von Hawks Rising, Cindy Harper, Vice Presidents of Southern Oklahoma Ladies Golf Alliance, Sissy Black. Who the fuck is Sissy Black? Never heard that before. Dana Gilbert with Solga, Tara Harper with Solga, Andrea Moore, Tournament Chair, Cindy Crook, that's an unfortunate last name, with DRH Health and DRH Roger Neal joined the Duncan Chamber. I think it's just probably because of the mention of Jan Fiorillo and the name of Taylor Lee Norman, which appears to be that person there. But they died in 2002, but the name's mentioned here in 2023, but that could just be a list of names, those past and present, alive and no longer, all mentioned together in this chamber. Nevertheless, so what I want to do briefly now is just give you my thoughts in regards specifically to the Reddit situation and that original subreddit page, which had over 6,000 members. I can't see it myself, but then again, it's probably because I'm permanently banned, that the page can be set to private at least, so then I guess no one can access it. But I'm just wondering if once the page is set to private, does that mean that anybody that's still within it gets kicked out, removed, banned? I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll take another look again another day just to see if you can search for it when signed out. I know some pages which are just private anyway, you need to request to join, but then you've still got access to it, you can still participate. So making it private is pointless, because as long as there's people on the page on the inside in the first place or join in between, they're going to still have access. So unless Jen kept it private but then booted everybody out of the page and banned them permanently to ensure no one can get back in, I would understand that. But, and that might explain why there's no reason as to why one is permanently banned, because there's no actual reason to justify it, but it's done on a mass level. But then again, if you were going to do that and it was like, what, 6,000? I can't remember the exact number. It's going to take forever to ban everyone unless there's an option to do it all in one go. Nevertheless, even if the page is somehow still available somewhere, it's not accessible to others, I guess. And of course, if it was removed or deleted, that's detrimental to the case and bad. But even if that wasn't the case, it's just the mindset, it's the mentality and attitude by Jen. Yes, you may be sick, you may be tired, you may be attacked, you're allowed, you have the right to take a step back, to have a break, or to walk away for good. You get involved in the first place because you want to, because you're interested, you participate, it's your choice. Just like how as a creator, it's my choice to cover the case. We can step back at any time, we can move on to other stuff at any time. Even if other people want to play emotional blackmail, I could step away from this case because I want to, my choice, I'm allowed to. I'm not restrained. I'm not going to be held at gunpoint. If I want to move on to another case because I really want to, because I want to do something different, I want to look at something new and exciting, I have the right and I should be able to do that. I don't blame other people if they get frustrated or pissed off, because it's like, hey, what about this case? But at the end of the day, it all comes down to personal choice, just like how with the general public getting involved in each case and learning and doing some extent of whatever action. But if you're going to leave or step back, are you going to leave a domino effect? Because that's what supposedly has happened here, or at least the mindset of Jen steps away, but also wants the page to be taken down, deleted, or privatized to some extent. Why then? If she was the problem, or being deemed or labeled as the problem, why does the page have to suffer as well? Why do members on that page have to suffer too? Because there'll be some good people still about, right, on the pages. Got to take in mind that in the early days when I was covering the case, I was looking at it from the Reddit subreddit. And it was very useful because on Facebook, it was really convoluted with a lot of material and posts, and it was hard to trace back to previous things. But the Reddit page was able to retrieve and archive key screenshots from what Stevie Howard had said in the early days about if we were responsible as parents and we're so evil, supposedly, we would have done a better job at disposing of Noah and no one would be able to find him. Things like that. And much more since. And some screenshots from Jack, some screenshots all over the place. It was very helpful. The Reddit page was good. And it lasted for a few months. And then after that, it went downhill. And to be honest, when I think about it, when trying to look back at previous posts on that Reddit, they're just no longer there. They have been deleted, removed. Whether that be by Jen herself or other moderators giving in to pressure, removing past post. So maybe in some ways it's a shame that the page may get shut down or removed, but then at the same time, maybe there's not much to lose and it's not a major loss to the case if already down the line previous posts were deleted and removed, which is very unfortunate. I mean, take in mind that I had 3 videos falsely removed on my YouTube channel, and I just find it hilarious now when I think about it, how pathetic. So I had at least 2 videos that got about 8,000 views on each one, nearly or around 16,000, round it up to 20,000 views, including a 3rd video. And that was from covering it to do with Caden Pressey, covering it from Jack Newton, Caleb Newton, the boating accident of 2020. I was just doing some documentation, covering and putting my opinions and analysis across. Those 3 videos were falsely reported, taken down from my channel. I had no control over it. YouTube were extremely quick, in the moment at least, and didn't give me any options to appeal, didn't give me any help, didn't do anything for me. 3 videos reported in the past. Nothing happened at the time. I was told by YouTube they were false reports. Fast forward on to 2025, and out of nowhere they get taken down, and I've got no time to defend myself. I've got no option to appeal. They're just gone. So I lost 20,000 views statistically from my channel because of those videos falsely being taken down. And it's really embarrassing because of how YouTube lied to my face. Just like how YouTube lied to my face about a particular video which I reported for good reason because it was false claims and using my face without my consent. And YouTube said we've removed the content. I checked back, the content's still there. And yet, anyone and almost everyone can do anything and everything to me on YouTube and get away with it. But the moment I do a video which is innocent and doesn't break guidelines, it's deemed as breaking guidelines. But when anyone or everyone does something bad to me which clearly breaks guidelines, in the eyes of YouTube, that is following guidelines. It's beyond ridiculous at this point. To be honest, YouTube owes me a massive amount of compensation due to what it's put my channel through. Embarrassing, pathetic. But besides that, in terms of things being removed or taken away, that was out of my control. I couldn't do anything about it. In terms of this Reddit situation, they're in control to some extent, and they're choosing to take it down or to try and privatize it, minimize it so there's no access, and that's unfortunate. But self-destruction with time, with deleting previous posts and archives, that doesn't help either. So it's like a hollow shell of what it once was, that Reddit page. So I guess if it does go or remove, as bad as it is and it's a shame, you know, what's left of it. But then again, at least I documented it, what I could document on my channel. So, you know, if you think of the Reddit page no longer accessible, you can't see it anymore, you can't look at it, don't worry, because there'll be some posts and screenshots which are from that page at the time of when it was all up, and it will be on my channel archived. So that's something at least. But, you know, we're seeing developments as in people taking a step back and things being removed. As bad as it sounds, if it actually happens, there is a positive that can come from it. And that is someone finally sticking true to their words. Because too often, people have been like, oh, I'm going to take a step back. Oh, I'm going to take a step back. But guess what? I'm getting closer. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a step back. Am I staying true to my words? No, I'm going to take a step back even further. I'm getting further away from the case. I'm going to take a step back for 3 months. I've had enough. But by the way, I'm back the next day. I'm closer than ever. I'm up close. I want to keep on pushing because I'm so passionate, because I'm so determined. I'm going to ignore the wishes of the family. I'm going to ignore the wishes of the police. I'm just going to keep on pushing because I think I know better. In the words said by actions of others. People aren't staying true to their words, damaging their credibility. If this time it actually follows through, that's a positive. But on the sideline, with the whole Jan Fiorillo situation, what we saw in those comments and posts, DMs, weird as hell. What does Noah's family think of all this? Are they aware or not? If anyone's got additional context or you need to defend yourself, of course, the comment section is available down below. So leave your thoughts, and the full playlist is up there. Hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting. If you want to hit the thumbs up, share the video, that'd be much appreciated. My name's Warlike Ref. We'll see what happens next, but for now, goodbye. Goodbye for now.